Hey folks, it's Jason Tolan here, and I wanted to talk today a little bit about something that comes up a lot in work that I do with clients, but I think is overlooked a bit, and that is actually the present moment. Now, there's a lot of talk about mindfulness and awareness in today's society and in the helping fields and meditation and that sort of thing. But I've discovered that a lot of people who have even heard about this or even been trained in it don't really know what to do with it or how it fits into their lives in a useful way. So I just want to explain a little bit more about that. And it all begins with a single fundamental realization or awareness, and that is that the present moment is actually the only moment that exists. It's the only moment that's happening. It's the only moment that we can do anything. And this is true for everyone. So whatever you do, you're doing it in the present moment at the time that you do it. And this particular present moment that's happening right now is the only one that's happening. And this is true for everyone. So everyone on the whole planet, they're doing whatever they're doing right now. Everything that's happening in the entire world, in the entire universe, is happening right now at this exact present moment. And this may seem simple, and in fact it is simple, but we're not used to noticing this. We're not usually trained in this. So once you internalize this awareness, and I mean get it viscerally so that it becomes second nature and you realize the present moment is in fact the only moment that's happening, then some very powerful and helpful insights arise. And that's really what I want to talk about, is some of the insights that arise from that initial awareness. So what are some of those insights? Well, if the present moment is the only moment that exists, what does that mean about, for example, about the past? One thing it means about the past is that the past does not exist. If the present moment is the only moment that exists, no other moments exist. The past does not exist. And I mean this in a very literal way. The past really, truly, first of all, it's not anywhere. It's not in a box in the garage. If you go look for it, you're not going to discover, oh, here's the past where I left it when I moved in. It's not in the yard behind a tree where a dog dropped it. It's nowhere. No matter where you look, you will not find something called the past. The past exists in this way and this way only. A person, you, me, somebody, using their memory and imagination to remember / reimagine events that did happen. When they were happening, it was a present moment. It was a different present moment. That moment's gone. And they're not happening now in this moment. So really the past exists in this way and this way only. A person using their memory, their imagination, in a certain kind of way to remember certain things. So right now, you could remember something, and if you're going to do this, just pick something fun. Pick something that was a great memory, something easy. And really remember that for a second. And then ask yourself, as you do that, is that thing happening right now? And hopefully, likely, you will conclude that that's not happening right now. What's happening right now is you are wherever you are. Maybe you're watching this video and thinking about some stuff. And for a moment there, you were doing a certain kind of process with the memory and the imagination. And that process has a label. And the label we use for that process is the past. Period. There's no other part to the past. There are no secrets. There's nothing hidden from you. That is the complete entirety of the past, is a process that a person does in their imagination. When do they do this process? Now, in the present moment, because the present moment is the only moment that we can do anything. So anything we ever do, we're doing it now. Everything we ever do, at the time we do it, we're doing it now. And that includes this process with the memory and the imagination that we call the past. So another way to say this is, the past is a process we do in the present. Okay, the past is a process we do in the present. Now, sometimes the past can interfere with the present in an undesirable way. And if that's the case, if that's going on, we can change that. And hypnosis is one of the most powerful tools we can use to do that. If the past is interfering with the present in an undesirable way, we can change that. Now, let's use our new definition, our new understanding of the past. The past is a process we do in the present, and combine those two statements. So instead of saying if the past is interfering with the present in an unhelpful way, we can change that. We can say if a process we do in the present is interfering with the present in an undesirable way, we can change that. And that's a lot of what I do. I help people do the past in ways that don't interfere unhelpfully with the present moment anymore. Okay, if the present is the only moment that exists, and the past does not exist, other than this process we do in the present, what does that mean about the future? Well, it means that the future also does not exist. It's not real. It's not real. It's not a thing. It too is not in a box in the garage where you left it when you moved in. It's not in the backyard where the dog dropped it behind a tree. It's nowhere. And you will not find the future wherever you look because it's not real. A lot of people get caught up in the past or the future. It's not real. The future, like the past, exists only in our mind. So, as you're watching this video, just imagine something that could happen, something wonderful. Pick something great or something easy or something fun, and just imagine it for a second. And as you do, then ask yourself, is that thing happening now? And again, likely you'll conclude, no, that thing's not happening now. What's happening now? You're watching a video. You're thinking about some things. You're using your imagination in a certain kind of way. And that process that you just did with your imagination has a label. And the label we use in English for that process is the future. Period. Once again, nothing is hidden from you, nothing's being kept from you, and there are no secrets about this. There is nothing more to the future, period, ever. Now, there are more ways we can use our imagination besides the process we call the past and the process we call the future. You could imagine an elephant with pink toenails, and that's not the past or the future. That's using the mind in a different way. But we can use the mind in a way we call the past and a way we call the future. Now, another way to think of the future, it's like a whole series of present moments all lined up, just waiting to happen. But when each one gets here, it will just seem like now. It will always just seem like now, over and over again. So the future, it's this whole series of present moments that haven't happened yet. And that's it, and they don't exist. Okay, now, when we get out to the sunset of our lives, and we look back over a life well lived, what does it mean to have lived a life well lived? Well, one thing it means, I suggest to you, is that it means nothing more and nothing less than a life where most of the present moments work pretty well. That's it. When you live a life where most of the present moments work, whatever working means, and that can mean different things for different people at different times, but whatever working well means, when a life has most present moments work well, one after the other, that is what a life well lived is when you look back on it. Now, there are a few more insights that come out of this kind of thing. One of those insights is, out at the sunset of life, there is this event that's waiting for us all, and we know it. There's no surprises here or secrets. If we were born, we are going to die at some point. So a wise person doesn't spend a lot of time pretending otherwise. We know that's the case, but what does this mean? One thing it means is that these present moments that we have waiting for us, in a sense, even though they're not real, It means there are only so many of them. They're limited. And what does that mean? That means that they're precious. They're precious. And even further, we only ever get one at a time. This one. This one that's happening right now is the only one where you can do anything. And even further, it means there's only one moment you ever have to get good at. One moment. This one. Because when you get good at this one, when you develop the skills, the tools, the resources, the wisdom, whatever it is that allows you to have a healthy interaction with this present moment, it's just rinse and repeat. Now, some people feel when they hear this notion of the past not existing and the future not existing, they say things to me like, well, if the future doesn't exist, why don't I just spend all my money now and go crazy, go big? And it's a good question. And I say, they say, you're telling me the future doesn't exist, so why would I not go big now? It's a good question. And I am saying the future doesn't exist, other than as a process we do in the present. However, it is likely, based on scientific observation so far, that there will be more present moments. So, again, a wise person might choose to use some present moments to hold hands with a partner and watch a sunset go down in silence and just appreciate it. And to use other present moments to take specific intentional action, to set things up so that when those, quote, future present moments get here, they will work pretty well, so that we can begin to build this life where most of the present moments work pretty well. However, we do this setting up, we do this intentional planning in this present moment with no confusion about the existence of those future present moments. They do not exist. Only this moment exists. However, sometimes we choose to use this moment to set things up for those other moments that don't exist yet, under the assumption that they will exist. Now, there's only one moment that you ever have to get good at, and that's this one. And when you learn to lean into the present moment, rather than being some kind of constraint or limiting factor because the past is now gone in a sense, or the future is now gone in a sense, when you learn to lean into the present moment begins to open up like this. And in a very real and very literal way, 100% of your life is happening right now in the present moment. 100% of your life is happening right now. Not 99.9% happening now and 0.1% happening 2 weeks ago. No, 0% happening 2 weeks ago, 100% happening right now. And what does this mean? One thing it means is that 100% of what your life is like right now is what 100% of your life is like. So whatever your life is like right now is what 100% of your life is like. Your entire life is happening right now. So what your life is like right now is what your whole life is like. So you can begin to see why it's important to develop a healthy relationship to the present, to cultivate a healthy interaction with whatever context you are in, wherever you find yourself. And when we learn to do this, life changes. Life gets better. Life gets easier because there's so much we don't have to worry about anymore. Now again, if the process we call the past gets in the way of this present moment, we can change that. Hypnosis is a powerful and fast way to do that. If the process we call the future gets in the way of the present moment working well, we can change that. Now, in the next video, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the ways that the processes that we call the past and the future can get in the way of the present working well. and what we can do about that. For now, hopefully this video has given a little bit of insight as to why there's all this fuss about the present moment, and why do we want to learn to get better at it, at interacting with it, because it is very literally what your life is taking place inside of. Your life is in the present moment all the time, all of it. So when your present moment works well, your life works well. When the present moment doesn't work well, your life doesn't work well. And in fact, it's the only moment that ever needs tending to. So when you get good at it, life works better. I'm Jason Tolan with Mind's Eye Hypnotherapy, and check out the next video, which will have a little bit more, taking this one step further. Bye for now.